Peace and blessings. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Can't get enough of the Hard Talk with Jakim show? You can email us at btom6164@gmail.com. That's bthomp6164@gmail.com. Peace. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at The Real Jakim. That's at The Real Jakim. Remember, no punks allowed. Peace. All right, peace and blessings, family. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Listen, usually I'm talking about politics and civics and the social ills, but today I've got two great guests that's going to be talking about commercial lending. Yes, we're going to be talking about the money. And right next to me, I'm going to let them introduce yourself. We're here live here at the Wilmington Library. So first, lovely lady right here, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sultan Taskin. I am a Sequoia Lending consultant. And
who we have here, bro?
Hi, everyone. My name is Allen Wu. I'm the CEO for Sequoia Lending. Thank you for having me today.
All right. So listen, when we came here today, and all of us, because it's live, we're here on the 20th of May, and right now, Wilmington is having a Grand Prix. So we had to dodge between the police barriers to get in here, but this is so important about commercial lending. What is the first thing, Alan? What is the first thing you want to tell our folks about getting into the commercial lending business?
Absolutely. So when we talk about commercial lending, a lot of people just thought that, hey, it's just another lending company, just like purchasing a property and whatsoever. But however, commercial lending is a lot more than just buying a house. So for example, buying investment properties, purchasing multifamilies, mixed use, land developments. We are talking about equipment loans, working capital, so on and so forth. So all those fundings are also commercial lending. So basically anything that has to do with funding a business, that is what we're talking about here.
That's so important. And, we're always talking about economics, always bringing economics into the community. And Sultan has been doing a lot of stuff with that. And you can tell them a little bit about the commercial lending as well.
Yes. Well, with working with a lot of the communities in the city of Wilmington, a lot of people are facing hardship with finding commercial lenders to help them with their housing, affordable housing. We have major crisis in Delaware, so I'm working with all these different groups to help them, provide them the resources so they could come to us and get their lending basically.
There you go. Yeah, and I'm a homeowner, and I know that being a homeowner, and I'm also own businesses, and that the lending part of it is such an important thing, Alan.
Yep.
That you have to have that. You can't always do it with your own money. You want to be able to do it with other people's money. Am I right?
Absolutely. OPM is definitely
OPM. That is the word. OPM is very important, and business credit. Do you have a thing with business credit as well?
Absolutely. I mean, again, when you come into commercial funding, just like Jack said, OPM is very, very important. A lot of people don't realize the importance of leveraging, because when you are trying to use your own money to do it, your capital is always limited.
Yes.
And it's very difficult for any business to expand without capital injections. But the reality is that a lot of people go to the bank and looking for funding. Quite frankly, bank is the most conservative funding sources out there. And if they don't understand what you're talking about, if they don't like your budgets, they don't like your financials, and they're just not giving you the money. But however, there's a lot of businesses out there are good businesses. And even though on the financially, they might not show the numbers that the bank want to show, but the business is actually growing. So however, besides of the bank, there's actually a lot of other funding sources or capitals out there that can help the small business people to get the funding that they need. So for example, like if somebody that needs equipment, and we have lenders that can fund equipment loan between 5 to 10 days. And if somebody needs an equipment, they cannot just wait for like 30, 40, 50 days. Well, they need it right there.
Alan, I'm gonna hit you on that. That's one that is so important, that you know that there's other ways for you to get the lending, and that you need that business that business acumen to the accessibility to move quickly. If I needed some equipment or whatever, that's important. I'm definitely with you on that one. Your name of your organization is
Sequoia. The organization is called Sequoia Lending.
and Sequoia Lending. Now, everybody knows that here in the city of Wilmington, if you watch the Hard Talk, we talked about how sometimes downtown areas get developed quicker than outside areas. I talk about that. We talked about gentrification and all that good stuff. But what we want to talk about is economics. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about with Sister Sultan, that the economic basis, you cannot do anything, whether political or civics, if you do not have that economic component in it. Am I right?
That's so true. I know we discussed it with Alan before, even going into some of these banking industries. I spoke with a lot of the lenders in the banking industry. They said we turned down almost 90 to 99% of the clients away. So we're here to help you with any kind of commercial lending. If you let us know we could even help you develop something where we can help you with your commercial lending. It could be anything and everything. But, we have to be realistic, of course, about the lending with the,
Anytime you appropriate any monies, business credit is important.
Correct.
Assets are important.
Yes.
I know anytime you talk about financial, Alan, you got to talk about assets. You
Absolutely.
need to have that. You need to really have a real developed business plan. I've been in a business that was in New York. I had a security business in New York. And you know how that goes with family members. But I had to do all those particular steps to make sure that we were a credit-worthy business.
Correct.
And that is important. Speak on that for a second, Alan.
Absolutely. So when we come to the commercial lending, the lenders not just go to hand you a check. Obviously, they lend you the money for your business, and the goal is for giving you the money to see your business to become successful, so that they are successful also. So most of this lender, I would say all of the lenders, before they even give you a dime, they will look at what kind of business that you're running, what kind of experience that you're running. So when you come into funding like this, the number one thing that any other lenders look for is experience. You need to show the lenders that you have the experience, you have the confidence, you have the track record to show that when you get that money, you're not just use that money to buy a car. You use that money to go to a luxury vacation or something like this. But you're actually using that money to put into your business, to grow your business from 1 to 10, and so that they can get their principal plus their interest back, so that they can give you more and more and more funding. So experience is very, very important. Now, we have a lot of clients come to us saying that, hey, I just started up a business right here and I don't have any experience or whatsoever. Can you give me the funding? Well, when you just start up a business without any experience whatsoever, the capital that you can get is very, very limited. But however, what I would suggest everybody to do is to get whatever you can get, and that's how you start to build up your business credit, just like your personal credit, right? I mean, when you started out, you might not have any credit card whatsoever. You start out with a $500 limitation, a credit limit, so on and so forth. Same thing with business. If you started out, if somebody can give you $5,000, $10,000, take it, and then you build on top of it. And once you gain your experience, and now you can get more and more and more funding from the lender.
What you just said there was definitely some pearls of wisdom for a lot of people out there. Credibility is one of the reasons why a lot of people have credit issue, is because they don't have any credibility. Whether you believe in the credit scoring or whatever, you still have to have that experience. And even if you're starting out, even if you're looking for angel investors or whatever, you need to be able to have some commercial lending options. And everybody needs commercial lending, from those that are very wealthy, from those that are poor, that's just starting out, or startups. You need that commercial lending. Right. You want to tell them again, Sultan, about that? The other thing that I have, the question that I have for both of you, is that Sequoia is the organization you work with. And how many, do you know any of the numbers of how many Black businesses in Delaware have you lent to?
Oh, in Delaware?
Black-owned businesses.
That I really don't know about the rates, because again, when the business come into us, we don't ask,
Right.
So again, I mean,
Right.
we fund all businesses ranging from fix and flips, constructions, working capitals, equipment loans, so on and so forth. So again,
That is the other question that I wanted to ask you. If I came in and I wanted to start a puppet business, maybe I'm just pulling that out there, man. If I wanted to start a puppet business, I would still have to have that business plan and that experience, and to show that this is going to, it really doesn't matter what the business is. You know, if it was a crochet business, it would be the same tactics.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So the number one thing, you can start up a new business. The number one thing the lender is going to ask you is that what kind of experience that you have. Now, it's fine that you never run a business before. So if you're talking about you want to start up a puppet business, and let's say you work in a puppet business before, you are a manager, so on and so forth, and now it's time for you to come out here to do your own business. Absolutely, you can show that you have that experience. The lender will give you the money to do that. And again, especially you go into some sort of franchise. And as a matter of fact, we funded a gentleman that purchased a Cold Stone last year.
Okay.
He just got out from the military, and we were able to use their military experience and apply to the Cold Stone. And because that's a franchise, it would make things a little bit easier, because the franchise, they do have the training program for you to get into. But again, experience is definitely is very important. And so remember one thing. Remember one thing. These are lenders. They fund businesses, but they don't fund ideas. A lot of people come to us saying, "Hey, I got a great idea."
That's a good point.
We don't fund ideas.
And I like to go back to when you said Black-owned businesses or woman-owned businesses in Delaware. We're here now, so give us a call.
There you go.
302-723-8340.
Listen, we're going to definitely give that phone number again. We're definitely going to give any websites that you want.
Yes.
But let me just follow up on that. You're absolutely right, because a lot of, as a former United States Army veteran myself, a lot of people come out of the military with a lot of logistics.
Yes.
And they know how to put things together. It's almost like that story that Quincy Jones had. There's a famous story that Quincy Jones was telling a producer. He said, the producer doesn't produce the music. He doesn't he doesn't play the bass line, or he doesn't play the guitar. But what he does is put the pieces together.
Yes.
And that's the reason why he is the producer. And that's the reason why he gets the most money, because he tells the drummer to do this. He tells it. The same thing out of the military. We have that type of logistics that we can put those pieces together. And I'm glad that you did, Lynch, because we got Memorial Day coming up. And of course, you lent to a military person for Cold Stone. That's a great franchise. I mean, those are one of those franchises that you can actually generate generational wealth. And we say that all the time in these things. Let me just we're going to go to a commercial. I'm going to be right back. And when we come back, we're going to give them all the information on how to get in contact with both of you fine people. All right?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with the Hard Talk with Jakim show. The independent voice you need. The Hard Talk with Jakim show. Peace and blessings. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Can't get enough of the Hard Talk with Jakim show? You can email us at btom6164@gmail.com. That's bthomp6164@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Peace and blessings. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Can't get enough of the Hard Talk with Jakim show? You can email us at btom6164@gmail.com. That's bthomp6164@gmail.com. Peace. All right, we're back. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim Show. And I told you today, I'm not doing any politics. I ain't doing any civic stuff. Well, I am doing civics because has to do with community. But today we're going to talk about commercial lending. And I got two fine people over here. I got Alan, I got Sultan, and we're going to finish up. Before we move on to anything else, we want to get to you, the people out there, to get the information on how to get in contact with these fine people. So we'll start with Alan. How do we get in contact with you, Alan?
Well, my phone number is 240-528-8238. Again, 240-528-8238.
All right, excellent, man, and definitely, so Sister Sultan. I've known her for a while now, so we definitely going. What information you gonna give them?
My website is pass dot seqlending.com, and my phone number is 302-723-8340.
All right. So again, Sequoia Lending, I think they're doing big things here in Wilmington. I think you're nationwide, aren't you?
I am nationwide. Yeah.
Yes, you are nationwide. So even if this doesn't apply to this, if you're not in Wilmington, it applies to everybody in the nation. Commercial lending is one of the biggest ways for you to generate generational wealth for your family. This is important for you. If you know, I've been on here talking for years about Robert Kiyosaki, about the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know, I've been talking about economics, whether it be Dr. Boyce Watkins or any of those that are our peers that we talk in Black news media. It is important for you to make sure that you leave a legacy for your children. And you're not going to leave a legacy for your children if you only have a one-family house and you have no other businesses. That's just the bottom line. So, okay, is there anything that you want to tell the viewers before we get out of here? I'm going to get some of that good food over there. If y'all missing this right now, come to Wilmington Library. We'll be here till 2 p.m. Anything you want?
Absolutely. Well, one thing about Sequoia is that we are not just out here to look for clients. What we are trying to do is to disrupt the commercial lending industry.
Yes.
A lot of the people out there know what commercial lending is, but they don't know what commercial lending is. So what we are here is to open up the door for people like you and I, who has the resources, who has the needs, come on to commercial lending. Not only that to get the funding for yourself, but actually through our platform, we can disrupt this commercial lending industry so that you can help your community as well.
Yes, I love that.
Definitely.
Good one, Alan.
Thank you.
All right, it's on you, Sultan.
Yes. You could contact me anytime. I know with a lot of the individuals, especially we're from Wilmington, so I gotta say Wilmington area, they're having so many difficulties getting funded for these affordable housing or any development they may have or any of the projects they have. Please give us a call, 302-723-8340.
All right. And before we end up here, let me just say this. I work for a lot in my corrections. I'm also law enforcement. I'm a retired law enforcement and from New York City. And I work for a lot of female bosses, women that were bosses. I hate the word female. You know, we use law enforcement, we use it a lot. If you're a woman out here right now and you don't have your own business, I say get started. You cannot rely on anybody else to bring in income into your business. So they're happy to give women. And Alan, what else you want to say there?
Well, that's all I have to say. We'd love to see everyone. Okay, give us a call.
All right, man. It's been a hard talk.
And I want to say thank you to both of you.
Oh, thank you.
Here. Yep. Thank you so much.
All right. And this has been the Hard Talk with Jakim Show. Listen, I'm going to be back on Friday. We're going to be talking about 2024, the political stuff in Delaware. We're going to move forward with that. But I'm going to leave you with one great speech by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And I'm going to leave you with this particular thing. We have to think about economics. Economics is number one. I know politics. I talk politics all the time. I talk civics. But you know, if you don't have the economics, you don't have the power. Exactly. And that's number one. All right, we'll leave you with the beautiful speech from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I'll see you on Friday. Peace and blessings, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country.